Okay. I do want to give my 2 cents on I do want to give my 2 cents on this as a major fan of Assassin's Creed. Okay. Okay. Now, first things first, I'm not gonna make the same mistake I made when I was doing the Harmon Smith video. I'm not gonna get heated and yell, "Oh, or whatever. But what I will do is try and become a collective at. Because what I will do is try to become collected about it. Okay, everyone. If I sound weird, please forgive me. I'm getting over a cold as of right now. And at the same time, I had a hard time getting. I barely got any sleep. I barely got any sleep last night, so so I'm a tad delirious. Anyway, what I do want to say is I'm not really happy with the fact that we have Yasuke as a playable character in Assassin's Creed Shadows. And before you try and write this off as racism or whatever, or I just want a black character, that is not true, and frankly, that is not true, and I couldn't care less. Also, that sound was my phone. Anyway, I wouldn't mind a black character being in Japan. Or in any game. All I ask is that it made sense. And for Assassin's Creed Shadows, to where it's about feudal Japan, it doesn't make sense to have Yasuke as a playable character because, Chris, it's not because he wasn't there, and Chris, and no, I'm not one of those who believes that him, Chris, and no, I'm not one of those who believes that black people being there at all is unrealistic. I think, I think that's, I think that's really dumb. Especially given the fact especially given the fact that the first 5 games themselves are all about the end of the world. A very special a very special godlike precursor civilization. Using the Animus to communicate with Desmond. And not to mention we have the Apple of Eden. And the Staff of Eden and so on and so forth. This series already is science fiction. And there are things about it that already are unrealistic. Especially with the Animus thing from the get-go. Chris, what I'm trying to say is Yasuke is in fact a historical figure. That's no lie. That is not up for debate. And it shouldn't be. He existed. What is up for debate as of right now, and is being heavily debated, is his status as a samurai. With most people, with most people believing it and saying, yeah, this is fact. That's my black samurai. That's the shit right there. That's true, he was a samurai. And you have one of those people going as far as to try and edit Wikipedia pages or rather, any pages about him just to try and spin that. And yes, people knew that they were heavily edited. People knew. It was called out multiple times. I'm gonna say this. I don't think Yasuke should have been a real... Almost misspoke. I don't think Yasuke should have been a main character. Or rather, a main playable character. I believe Yasuke should have been as to what Ben Franklin... Leonardo DiCaprio... and so on and so forth were in Assassin's Creed, you know? I think it should have been like them. Have a... Christ. I think it should have been a special I think it should have been a special NPC. Who is a historical figure that your playable character just happens to know. And your character should have been... And your character should have been somebody that Ubisoft is known for doing in Assassin's Creed. Making up a character that fits in the world. Making up a character that fits in the land that the... Christ, that fits in the land that the game is set in. That's how it should have been. Unfortunately, it is not that. And you have many who are trying to defend Yasuke being a main character. And going as far as to peddle around the same made-up things about him. And not to mention, you have some journalists out there who are pissed off, and trying their damnedest to damage control for Ubisoft. Well, Ubisoft is pissed off all of Japan. You have many Japanese people. This guy here being an example. All wishing for Assassin's Creed Shadows to either be fixed or to be cancelled. Because as of right now, what's happening with this game is the fact that you have several people behind it all trying to revise history that isn't theirs and claim it. Which all in all, is just making everybody hate the game even more. I know it's not out yet, and frankly, I won't lie to you. Here's the game does look good. It looks great. Despite the backlash and the controversy or whatever, I was still looking forward to playing it. However, I want Ubisoft to go back. I want Ubisoft to go back. I want Ubisoft to go back to what they were doing beforehand. Make up a character for you to play as. Not some historical figure or whatever. Just a made-up character for that game. For the land it's set in. And for the culture it's about. King Chris, did it... And not to mention... Chris. I could be wrong about this, but having a black character like Yasuke is not very ambitious. It's not ambitious because we've had characters like him before in the series. We've had Evelyn from Assassin's Creed Liberations. We've had Adewale from Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry. Chris. We have Evelyn from Assassin's Creed Liberation, Adewale from Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, and of course, we also have Bayek from Assassin's Creed Origins. And if he's not black or whatever, please feel free to correct me. I happily encourage it. And for the Harmony video, I do appreciate the feedback. Thank you all so much. And believe me, I'm well aware of the fact that I was a lot harsher than I should have been. I don't want to repeat that. This, though, however, I don't want the game to be cancelled. All I ask is that Ubisoft right their wrong. This game, for the most part, is still salvageable. It still looks great. It still looks fantastic. Badass, even. However, there's a glaring issue with it, and it has to be fixed. And the people behind it who are trying to heavily push this, they have to be put in check. And I mean this. Many of you who are pushing for this really do have to you really do have to be kept in check. Why? Because all the damage control that you get here is exactly what you get when you're venting and just yelling off unrestrained. Keep in check and think logically here. I want Ubisoft to make this Assassin's Creed to be like the rest. Make your character somebody who's not a historical figure, but somebody made up for you to play as for that land and culture. The first Assassin's Creed itself was ambitious because you were playing as a Middle Eastern assassin during the Third Crusade. And this was in 2007, 6 years after we had just had 9/11. Where everybody at the time was on edge and at the ready to point the finger at anybody who was remotely Middle Eastern themselves and calling them a terrorist. Then you have Ezio Auditore for Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, where you're in Italy. And you do it again for Revelations whenever you're in, well, you're in Istanbul. Assassin's Creed 3, the founding of America. You're playing as a Native American. Of the Mohican tribe. That all makes sense, and all these characters are made up for that, and made to fit in. Yasuke is not like that. He's a historical figure that they're trying really hard to rewrite, and it isn't working. I want Ubisoft to go back to doing what they do best. Bring them back to their former glory. There's no use in this, and believe me, each and every single time stuff like this happens, it's talked about for a while and dies off quickly. It happened with Spider-Man 2. Which I will say Synthetic Man was really harsh about because he wouldn't feel for the guy who was caring for the pigeons. That's real fucked up, dude. Real fucked up. And frankly, it's a lot smarter to play the bigger person and say, you know what, you're right. We screwed up. We're sorry. Ubisoft, however, doubled down and said, you know what? We're sorry you feel that way. We're in the wrong, we know it, but we don't care. We're sorry that you're offended by it. We're not going to do anything about it. We're not going to change. We're not going to fix things. We're just sorry that we got caught and we pissed you off. Ubisoft, you can do a lot better than that. Take responsibility and right your wrongs. I mean that. I expect greatness from you guys because you have made one of my favorite franchises ever. Prince of Persia. And not to mention, you're as of right now doing the remake of Sands of Time, which you had just teases coming out in 2026. So I am banking on that. I was banking on it back then, I still am now. Please, you can do better than this. I know you can. We all know you can. I want Assassin's Creed Shadows to be the best it is. With no backlash, no crap flung around, no idiots out there trying so hard to really hard to damage control this and calling others racist if you're against it. I'm really getting tired of people using that card. I'm Hispanic myself. I'm Hispanic myself, and believe me, I'm really sick and tired of people using that card. Understand that in today's day and age, you use that card, it just... You're just outing yourself. You have no excuses. You're not... You have nothing to fall back on. You're just using that as a crutch. I'm tired of... I'm tired of minorities doing that. Marginalized or not, I don't care. Stop doing that. I constantly heard this when I was growing up in school. I had a few students who would do the same thing, or I had a few fellow students who were like, is it because I'm this? Is it because I'm that? And every single time I'm just like, just shut the fuck up and quit while you're ahead. You were caught red-handed. Everyone knows it was you. Just shut the fuck up and take responsibility. You'll make the situation easier for yourself if you do that. Playing the race card is just making it harder. Oh, and look, I've read your comments on my Herman Smith video. Oh, I agree with all of you. I do. I really do. Which frankly is why I'm not so proud of the video. And as of right now, I'm considering taking it down because of how because of how horrible it is. I understand that free speech should not be silenced. However, at the same time, I can't excuse how I'm behaving in that video. Especially since I'm worked up especially since I'm worked up and speaking in bad faith. So for all the feedback I got out of that, thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And for that one guy who was... Right. For that one guy in the comments who was saying, come on... For that one guy in the comments who said, spell it out. Or come on, talk. Like, talk or whatever. Look. I appreciate the defense that somebody got... Look. I appreciate the response he got in defending me for my stuttering problem. My speech impediment. Believe me, I don't like it any more than you do. However, I appreciate the defense, thank you. However, I'm used to that kind of thing. It happens a lot, you know? If I were a lot younger, I'd be peeved about it, but these days, I don't really give a rat's ass anymore. It's a non-issue. And frankly, Chris, how my speech impediment affects me bothers me a whole lot more than what people think about it. So you know what? I appreciate the defense. I do, I really do. Thank you so much. But I'm used to it. However, as of right now, I've said all I wanted to say, and to top it off, I actually was planning to save this kind of talk for whenever I did start. I actually was planning to save this kind of talk for whenever I did start my LP of Assassin's Creed 1. However, doing that, it would have been... Doing that, I've already... Doing that, it would have ended the same way. Me just saying all that I wanted to say. It's not much. And frankly, I don't really know much about Yasuke. I don't really know much about Yasuke himself. But what I do know is that most people who are saying he's a samurai are wrong. And so with it, everyone, I appreciate you hearing me speak. If you have any corrections you'd like to make for me, please. I'd love to hear in the comments. And I would like to hear some feedback on how I was in this video. As opposed to the Harmon video I did previously. And so with that, please, thank you. Thank you all so much. And I will catch you guys later.